Hey there guys, how you going? Here with Bo and welcome to another tutorial. So in this tutorial, what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at CoinMarketCap. Now CoinMarketCap is like a central repository filled with just about every cryptocurrency out there in the market at the moment and contains a wealth of amazing functionality and features and data to help you in your cryptocurrency game. So what we're going to do in this tutorial is we're going to explore CoinMarketCap and look at the best features and functionalities that will actually help you, the really relevant and kind of easy to find information that'll help you when you're researching different coins or you're even considering a different investment. This tutorial is aimed at people that are new to cryptocurrency, but people that have even been around for a little while I think may find some use out of this tutorial and see some different features or functions that they didn't previously know. It's always best to do as much research as you can when you're considering different cryptocurrencies, and knowing kind of where to look in the most trustworthy and reliable sources can significantly help you in finding that information and also reduce a significant amount of time when you're out there searching for this information on the net. So with that out of the way, let's get straight into this tutorial. Alright guys, so the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come to CoinMarketCap.com. It's CoinMarketCap.com. So you'll see it up in the bar here, but I'll also put a link down in the description. Okay, so this is the main landing page. This is what you're going to see. Now, what we'll do first is we'll just break down some of the key things that you need to know, some of the most important aspects of this main page, and then we'll dive into some individual cryptocurrencies and see what that is all about. So the first thing is up in the top left here, you will see cryptocurrencies. So you see it says 1,523. Now that's the amount of cryptocurrencies currently out there on the open market. Now this number changes frequently. It obviously goes up all the time as new cryptocurrencies come in, but there also may be cryptocurrencies out there that the team at CoinMarketCap haven't actually gotten the chance to update yet. So as an example, I participated in an ICO last year and the team still hasn't had the chance to actually update that on CoinMarketCap.com. So they're actually probably still a fair bit behind, because given there's so many new cryptos always coming onto the market. So that's one thing to keep in mind. The second thing here is markets. Now these are just the amount of markets that are traded. So an example of a market might be US dollars for Bitcoin, US dollars for Ethereum, or Ethereum and Bitcoin markets, or Ethereum and an altcoin, or Bitcoin and an altcoin, so on and so forth. So these are the amount of markets out there at the moment, so 8,846. Now moving along, we'll see here the market cap. So this is the market capital. Now the market capital is basically just the sum of all the individual market caps of all these 1,523 cryptocurrencies that are listed here. Now we'll go into how market cap is calculated shortly, but that's what it is. That's the total. So when you're logging into CoinMarketCap, the first thing you'll generally do, the first thing I certainly do, is look at this figure, and this is a good gauge as to whether the market is increasing in value or new money is coming in or money is coming out and there's selling going on. The next thing along here is the 24-hour volume. Now this is the total sum of all the volumes of all the cryptocurrencies listed on the market. So you'll see here that the 24-hour volume of Bitcoin is $7.2 billion. We've got Ripple here, has had 330 million. So that's the total volume. Now, just a note that this volume is a rolling 24-hour period. It's not actually fixed to any particular time or time zone. It's just a rolling 24-hour window. Now, the next thing along here is the BTC dominance. Now, that's the percentage of Bitcoin's market cap that makes up the total market capital. So you see here Bitcoin's market cap right now is 185 billion and the total market cap is 463. So Bitcoin right now represents 40% of the entire market of all the cryptocurrencies, which is obviously quite a lot, but Bitcoin has been far higher than that in the past. So moving along, the next thing here is we have languages. So here's where you can change the language to your native language, and then we have different fiat currencies. So at the moment it's set to US, but there's also Australian dollars and euros. And just as a side note, people have chipped me for a couple of times for not displaying this in Australian dollars. The reason I don't is because the US is the global standard for benchmarking the price of cryptocurrencies. In just about all the media, you'll see across the world, different articles, different websites, it's always in US dollars. So the most important thing over time that you get used to is probably just looking at the 24-hour change, or alternatively looking at the 7-day change of your holdings. So you can always change it yourself, but generally I have it set to Australian dollars in my own portfolio on my app. So this I'll always keep in US dollars again, because US dollars is the global price, or the global currency that's used for the cryptocurrencies. So coming down, you'll see we've got different menu items here. We've got market cap, we've got trade volume, we've got trending, we've got tools. We'll come back to these in a bit. Firstly, we're just going to skip down and have a look at some particular cryptocurrencies and actually get into the meat of what CoinMarketCap can actually do for you. So first off, we'll just look at Bitcoin. Okay, so Bitcoin is number one because it has the highest market cap. That's how this is being displayed at the moment. It's just being displayed as a rank based on the highest market capital. The Bitcoin obviously having just over 100 billion in market cap, above its closest competitor being Ethereum. And when I say competitor, I'm just talking in terms of market capital. So then we have a price. So this is the price for one unit of Bitcoin. So one Bitcoin is worth currently $10,813 US. We have Ethereum, which is currently worth $880 US. We have 1 unit of Ripple being 94 cents. Now the next thing along here, we have the 24-hour trading volume. Now the 24-hour trading volume is across all listed exchanges that are currently trading Bitcoin. The same with all of the cryptocurrencies. That's all of the exchanges that are trading that particular cryptocurrency. That's where the data is coming from. Now, I'm just going to jump back a sec too and talk about price, because I forgot to mention something. Now, this price that is displayed here is an average across all the exchanges that this particular cryptocurrency is being traded on. And I'll show you an example of how this can be a little bit misleading when you're looking at this price compared to where it's listed in your country. So another question I've had from people quite often is, why is the price of the cryptocurrency here different to in Australia? Well, it's because the price is different on different exchanges based on supply and demand. So supply and demand is constrained to each individual exchange, and then CoinMarketCap accumulates all that data and then displays an average across all the listed exchanges. So this is really just a general guide. It's not the exact price based on your country. So just something to keep in mind. The next bit of data here we have is circulating supply. Now, circulating supply means the quantity, the total quantity of that particular cryptocurrency currently out there being available to be bought and sold. Now, it doesn't mean that this is the amount that's being bought and sold on the market right now. Absolutely not. It's far less than that. But this is the amount that is essentially available to be traded. This is the amount that's been spread out there to different wallets, whether it's held by some of the teams, whether it's held by investors, whether it's held by the community. This is what can be traded on exchanges right now. Now, the next bit of data here we have is the 24-hour change. Now, again, this is a rolling 24-hour period, just like the volume. So this moves. This isn't pegged to any particular time. And then the next one along here is we have the price graph. 7-day price graph, which just shows how the price is tracking over a rolling 7-day period. Now, if we want to have a look a little bit closer at some of these different timeline bits of data, what we can do is we can click this button here called View All. So once we click this, what it'll do is it'll actually show you a percentage over a rolling hour, a rolling 24-hour, and then a rolling 7-day period. So this can be really handy just to see how things have performed. Rather than looking at that graph, you can actually have a look at the percentages. So we can see here, for example, Ripple is down 12% over 7 days. Bitcoin, even though it's come up 3.18% in the last 24 hours, it's still down 3.4% from a high it had during the last 7-day period. We can see here IOTA is up 4.35% in the last 24 hours, but when you look at it over 7 days, it's actually still up 4.73% from its low. Alright, so we'll have a look at some individual cryptocurrencies now and actually get right into the meat of it. First one being Bitcoin. So what we'll do is we'll click on Bitcoin here, and then we have some information in front of us. Now, breaking this down, here we have the price of Bitcoin, same as what was listed on that front page there. We have this displayed here. This is the 24-hour change in price. We have the market cap, we have the volume, we have the circulating supply, and then we have the maximum supply. Now, the difference between the circulating supply and the maximum supply is generally different for just about every single cryptocurrency. Now, for Bitcoin, the maximum supply is what will be in circulation in around 30 years, I believe, after all of the Bitcoins have been mined. So there's a programmed supply schedule for Bitcoin based on its mining and various other factors. So it's very important when you're looking at this information and you're looking for different cryptocurrencies to invest in, especially small cap cryptocurrencies, to know where the circulating supply is kind of sitting at in terms of its spread amongst holders, and we'll get into that in a bit, and the maximum supply and why, and if these numbers aren't matching up, say if there's 20 or 30% missing, where is it sitting, who has it, and when is it going to come into circulation. Okay, so we'll move over to the left now, and what we're going to have here is a bunch of links. Now, these links are always linked to the original website for that particular cryptocurrency, which can be extremely good considering how many fake websites are made for cryptocurrencies out there, and people accidentally go to the fake websites, they put in some information, they get phished or they get hacked, or there's a lot of scams that go on. So if you ever want to know what the original website for a particular cryptocurrency is, come to CoinMarketCap, search for it up here, search for your particular cryptocurrency, come to the page, and then you'll just be able to click on the website. So if we just click on this website here, it'll take us to bitcoin.org. So this is the original website associated with Bitcoin and Bitcoin's development. So there's always there might be a second website as well. So this one will take us to bitcoin.com, run by the Roger Ver team. But anyway, that's kind of normally will point to some good original sources of information for you. Now, moving down the list, we'll have these things called explorers. Now, the explorers are the block explorers, which means it's a website that allows you to view the transactions occurring on that particular blockchain. So these just mean these are different block explorers that have been developed. So you can choose any one. You can choose one that might be your favorite. We'll just go to the first one for now, which is blockchain.info, which is a great block explorer. You can see if you go to charts here, there'll be a lot of different information that you can see what's going on. So you can see the market price, the average block size, number of transactions per day, the mempool size. This is essentially the list of waiting transactions. And then you can see all bunch of details that are coming directly from Bitcoin's blockchain. So that's what that piece of information is. That's what those explorers are. Now, the next thing is message boards. Now, message boards are kind of like the main forum or the main chat rooms associated with that particular cryptocurrency. So again, you know these links are going to trusted sources. They're going to the most original sources. So this is why CoinMarketCap is so great, is it provides these links for you. Okay, so we'll shut that down. You can see there's another message board. Now, the last one here is the source code. Now, the source code will, if the particular cryptocurrency you're searching for is open source, will take you directly to the GitHub repository. Now, why is this important? Well, this actually allows you to come directly to the source code and see how it's going in terms of its development. And you can even go one step further and you can actually track the activity of a particular developer. Now, pretty creepy stuff, but in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies at the moment, the developers are, significant developers are highly sought after, and their activity and their activity attributed to a certain project can actually be highly valuable. So if you actually have a look here, you can see Bitcoin and BIPs, which is the Bitcoin Improvement Proposals. You can jump into these and look at a bunch of information. But if we actually go to people, these are the core developers currently working on Bitcoin. So for other cryptocurrencies, you'll see the core developers working on those. So we'll just choose kind of a random one, or one without a photo. We'll go to Corey Fields here. We'll check this out. And look, we can actually see his activity over the last year. You can actually see his contributions during February, December. So really incredible stuff. You can actually see what these guys are working on, see what projects they're involved with. Some very, very interesting stuff if you want to dive really deep into researching a particular cryptocurrency. Now, going down the list, you'll see this rank 1, this tag just means it's number 1 in terms of market cap, and these other tags, it's mineable and it is a coin. Okay, so now getting into the charts. So what we have here is we're looking at the all-time, or since they started recording data of Bitcoin with its price. You'll see its price here over time. So this is price over time as it starts to increase, but you'll also see some additional information here. We've got 24-hour volume and market capital. So you'll see the market capital obviously goes up with the price of the cryptocurrency. So you can see as it goes up. Now, down below this trading volume, this is the amount of volume going on. So the volume is correlating with the increase in price as more people are jumping into Bitcoin over this time, more people are trading it, the demand goes up, the price goes up with it. Now you'll see up the top here, at the moment we're looking at it all time. We can do year to date, so we can just go from the start of January up to now, so we can see the price. Very interesting when you look at it year to date. We can go over 1 year, we can look at over 3 months, we can look at over 1 month, etc. But if you actually want to look at a particular section, all you need to do is you hold down your mouse and you drag, and you can actually highlight particular sections. So if we zoom in here, you'll see at how interesting it is when you actually zoom right in. You can see the activity over certain times here. So we can see here quite a lull period of Bitcoin's price from around August 2015 up to really around October. So quite a long period of really not much movement. So pretty interesting stuff. And if you want to reset, you just come back to all. You can also put in specific date periods here if you want to look at it at a specific date. Let's say if we wanted to go 2017 to 2017, and then you just hit enter and it'll actually load that specific time window for you. Now down the bottom here we have market cap, price in US dollars, Bitcoin and 24-hour trading volumes. By clicking these you can actually turn these on and off. You can turn off market cap if you just want to look at the price, and you can play with different things. You can also look at it over a log scale, which puts an interesting perspective on it as well. So lots of different things you can do just by looking at the markets here. Okay, so moving on to the markets tab now here, what we'll have is all the markets that Bitcoin is currently being traded on now. Bitcoin being the oldest cryptocurrency out there, being the number 1 in terms of market cap, it's obviously going to be on the most exchanges or the most markets. So firstly, the source here, these are the exchanges that it's listed on. These are global exchanges all around the world. So Coin1, you can see HitBTC, Poloniex, Bitstamp, etc. Now, when you see a duplication, so let's say you see OKX, you'll see OKX 3 times here. It's because it's being traded on different markets within that one exchange. So BTC, USDT, that means Bitcoin is being traded for Tether. Now, if we come down to this other one, this Bitcoin is being traded for Ethereum or vice versa. And the next one down, Bitcoin is being traded for Litecoin. And there's even a 4th one here, Bitcoin is being traded for Ethereum Classic, that's that ticker symbol. And even another one down here, Bitcoin is being traded for Bitcoin Cash. Now the next up we have the rolling 24-hour volume. So as at the moment we can see OKX is number 1 in terms of trading volume. We can see the price here is currently 10,765. And the volume in terms of a percentage of spread, OKX has 7.7% dominance on this market overall with all the exchanges. Now, when I was talking about the price before being an average, I just want to show you how significant it can actually be. So we can see here this one, BitHum. BitHum is located in South Korea. South Korea, generally the demand for the major cryptocurrencies will be higher than just about every part of the world. They have extremely high demand, but you can even see a more of an example here. In Bittrex, you can see the price of Bitcoin at the moment, 11,496, but the price on OKX, 10,765. So this price here is the average across all these different exchanges, because again, supply and demand is constrained to the demand and the supply based on each exchange at any given time. Now over here as well, you can actually change how the price of Bitcoin is being displayed. You can have it displayed in Ethereum. So 1 Bitcoin at OKX is currently worth 12.3 Ethereum. You can change to Litecoin, so 1 Bitcoin is worth 49.8 Litecoin, etc. So you can really look at a lot of different data here, depending on how you kind of trade and how you sort of go about things when you're looking at the value. Now the next tab along here is social. Now this is a really important one, as you'll see when we look at Ethereum. But social contains kind of the key source of information relating to community-based discussions on different cryptocurrencies. So at the moment, because there's no real company behind Bitcoin, we don't have a Twitter feed, we just have a Reddit. So we can see here different discussions that are going on at the moment, different popular discussions for Bitcoin. So at the moment you can see a daily discussion, you can click on this and this will actually take you to Reddit, to that Reddit post, and you can have a look. So the social tab is a fantastic way to keep on top of what's going on with a particular cryptocurrency without having to go to their website, without having to go to their Twitter page. You can just come here to social and you can see generally everything that's going on at that time. Next along here you have tools. Now tools here just allow you to do some interesting things. You can add a website widget. You can add this to a particular website with a bit of JavaScript there. It's API tickers as well. So that's just a couple of useful things for you if you want. And lastly, we have historical data. Now historical data is really, really useful if you want to do different things with the data. If you want to maybe plot some statistics, which I particularly like doing from time to time. If you want to have a look at some averages or some means across different sets of data and play with it, this is where you get it. Now you can change here, you can look at the last 3 months, you can change the time period. Now the only downside to this at the moment is there's no export. There's no export to Excel, there's no export to sort of anything else, to XML. So what you've kind of got to do, what I do is I'll just highlight it and then just copy it and paste it into a spreadsheet and then just start to manipulate it from there. But that's a great tool if you want to do some data analysis based on that historical data. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the main tools within these particular cryptocurrencies. We're going to go have a look at another example. We're going to look at Ethereum because Ethereum is a bit different, and what you'll find is every single cryptocurrency is a little bit different in terms of what sort of information you have available to you. So if we come over here to Ethereum, we'll click on this one and we'll see what we have available to us. So first up, the information is similar, but just starting from the start, see we've got the price here. We can see that 24-hour change of price with the market cap, covered that before. We've got the 24-hour trading volume, then we've got the circulating supply. But if you notice, there's no max supply. So coming back to Bitcoin, you can see we know how many Bitcoins are going to be in circulation one day, but with Ethereum, there's no max supply. Now why? Well, that's because there is no maximum supply with Ethereum. See, Ethereum's got a programmed supply schedule, but it doesn't have a maximum supply. Now, the amount of Ethereum that come into circulation over time is programmed, but when you're researching cryptocurrencies that don't have a maximum supply, you'll need to go and find out why, and you need to find out what that supply schedule is actually like. How many tokens are programmed to be released every day or every week or every quarter or every block, or however they've programmed it. That's what you need to work out. That's what you need to find out. And really the only way to do that is to go and find that information yourself, generally by looking at the white paper or just searching on Google. People may have covered it in different blogs or forums, but that's a really important thing when looking at different cryptocurrency investments, is you need to know why, and then you need to know at what point is this additional supply going to come into circulation, because that could, if it's a large amount, that could drastically affect the price in a negative way for you. So coming down the list here again, we've got websites. So if we click on this one, this will take us to the official ethereum.org website. We've got an announcements one here as well. So on Bitcoin Talk, this is kind of where significant announcements for Ethereum are posted. We've got the Ethereum block explorers as well, just like Bitcoin. Looks a little bit different, but essentially the same. You can look at all sorts of information, smart contracts and all sorts of stuff. We've got a message board, very similar. This is just the official forum for the Ethereum community. As you can see, there's a lot of discussion goes on here across a variety of different categories. We've got chat as well, so the official chat for Ethereum over here on GitHub. Lots of community discussion going on here as well. Lots of people subscribe to this. Really good resource. And then again, the source code. So over on GitHub, just like we looked with Bitcoin before, because these are open source cryptocurrencies, you can come in and see how much activity is going on with these cryptocurrencies at any given time. And again, you can look at the developers working on these cryptocurrencies and actually track their involvement. So very interesting stuff. So coming down to the charts, much the same as Bitcoin. The only difference is we can now display the price of Bitcoin against the price of Ethereum. So this is essentially what Ethereum is worth in Bitcoin overlaid on top of one another. So you can actually see here at the time the price of Ethereum against Bitcoin was really high when compared to the US. You can see they actually converged at this point right here where they were essentially worth the same. So pretty interesting when you look at it. I actually don't often look in the price of Bitcoin. I like to look at everything in US dollars, but that's just me. I know a lot of people do like to use that Bitcoin price. So again, we can have a look at the market so we can see just Ethereum, how much Ethereum is actually traded. Now, I want to use this example to actually talk a little bit about liquidity and how important liquidity is when you're looking at different cryptocurrencies. And Ethereum is a really good example. I'm going to compare it to another cryptocurrency to give you an example. So when a cryptocurrency is traded on a lot of markets, that means it's got high liquidity. Okay, that means it's got its availability to be traded is high. So this is a highly liquid cryptocurrency. It's arguably as liquid as Bitcoin, if not very, very close. Now, what we'll do is we'll compare this to a cryptocurrency that is very illiquid or has low liquidity. Now, I've just chosen this one, Blockhat. It's a cool project, I like it. It's just a good example to show you at how low the liquidity is for Blockhat. So you can see Blockhat here is only being traded on 3 markets, okay? It's only been traded on 3 markets. You can see that 98% of the volume is on one exchange. This is a very illiquid cryptocurrency at this point, extremely illiquid. Now, if we actually come over to Cryptopia, I've actually just prepared this one earlier. What we'll actually do is we'll have a look at the order book. Now, the order book shows us the depth of the trades that are currently going on. Now, looking at the order book is another way to assess the liquidity. Now, what we can see is at the moment, the buying volume for Blockhat is at 1.5 or 1.15 Bitcoin worth. Very, very low. That's very small amount of buying going on. We can see the selling. This is a cumulative sell orders currently in for Blockhat. You can see there's more selling going on than there is buying. So this is a very shallow book as well, a very shallow depth in terms of Blockhat's trading. Okay, so very low liquidity, very low depth. Now, if we actually come over here to Binance, let's have a look at the order book for Ethereum and Bitcoin. Now, by the way, this order book was for Blockhat and Bitcoin. This is a Blockhat Bitcoin market. We'll come over here to Binance. We'll have a look at the order book for Ethereum and Bitcoin. Now, as we can see here, the depth it's a very deep order book. Okay, so it's got very high liquidity because we know Ethereum is traded on so many markets, highly liquid, and it has a very deep order book. Now, it's a little bit laggy at the moment because I'm recording this, but up here is the quantity of Ethereum currently being bought. So there's currently buy orders in for 256 Ethereum. There's currently sell orders in here for about 100 to 110 worth of Ethereum. So that is a very high quantity of Ethereum being bought and sold, which means it's got a deep order book. Now, this is just on one exchange as well. Now, what you'll generally find is when you look at these markets, they'll have pretty deep order books on just about every single exchange. Now, why is this important? Well, the reason why it's important is because the high liquidity means that the less the price is going to be impacted depending on individual buy and sell orders. So there is, as you can see here, millions of dollars worth of trading volume going on at every time. For one person or a couple of people to significantly impact the price of Ethereum, they would have to hold an immense amount of the token to really influence the price of the markets. Now, I'm not saying it can't be done, it certainly can, but the probability is far lower because it's so liquid, there's so much trading going on at all times. It's unlikely that large buy and sell orders are going to affect the market. Whereas in a very illiquid market, such as here with Blockhat being traded on one exchange, extremely low trading volumes with a very, very small or shallow order book, one person won't have to hold that many to significantly impact the price, but both up and down. So what you generally will find is with the less liquidity and the more shallow order books, that is a risk that is a risk. So that's just one way to analyze the risk when you are looking at investing into a particular cryptocurrency. So that's just one handy tool that you can take away from using CoinMarketCap when you're looking at these markets, is by assessing the liquidity and the order book depth. So moving along, we'll look at social again. Now, this has actually got the official Twitter feed for Ethereum and the Reddit. So this is great. You can scroll through Ethereum's Twitter feed instead of having to go to their Twitter page. You can see it right here, quick and easy. So if there's been a huge spike in the price, you might want to come here and see, has there been some significant news release? Has something really good happened? Has something really bad happened? And generally you'll see people talking about it over here as well. So you can see here that someone's talking about portable Solidity debugger, something about Spank Chain. There's all this different information here, so this can be really good at getting a quick gauge on market sentiment as well. How's the community out there feeling? How are investors feeling? What's the general sentiment out there in the market? Now again, tools are the same. You can get these tickers here, historical data just the same as well. Now just coming over to have another look at BlockCat. So this is really an altcoin, just to show you what the explorers for altcoins can actually look like. When you're looking at a blockchain protocol like Ethereum, you're looking directly at the blockchain and what's going on in the blockchain, but an altcoin that's been built off Ethereum is quite a bit different. So if we come and have a look at the Explorer here, this will take us to the smart contract details for that particular token. Now what we'll see straight away, we can see the total supply here, the value per token. We can see the number of wallet addresses currently holding this token. So very interesting information. You can essentially work out the spread of this token and how many people actually hold it, and the quantity as well. And we'll look at that in just a sec. We can see here the actual contract, the ERC20, that means that's an Ethereum based contract. The decimal places that this particular token is divisible to, down to 18 decimal places, then official links as well. Now these are recent transactions that are going on with this cryptocurrency, but if we look at token holders, what this will actually show us is the amount that people are actually holding. So if we look at the chart, it makes it a little bit more easy to see. We can actually see who is holding the most amount of BlockCat. So what we can see up here, the top 100 holders collectively own 66% of all the BlockCat tokens. We can see the total supply, the number of token holders. Now what you'll need to find out is when you're researching these coins, is the reason why one may hold a lot is could be because there's reserves. The company might be holding reserves. They might have locked a portion of it for advisors, for the founders, for marketing. For a couple of years they could be using certain portions. There's all different kinds of reasons as to why addresses may hold a lot, and certainly the fact that this is exactly 20% is fair. You can fairly safely assume that that's being a portion of that's being kept by the company, perhaps for a couple of years. So this is just one way to go even a level further in terms of research into working out some of the background on what's going on with these particular cryptocurrencies. Now what you can also do going back is you can actually look, if we just go back again here, you can actually look at the details of the smart contract. So if you are a developer or you are someone that knows actually how to read code, you can actually read the exact smart contract that was developed for the BlockCat token. So very, very interesting stuff. You can actually look at the contract source here. So here's the actual source code. This would be in Solidity. So you can actually go very, very deep into your research depending on how far you want to go. So that's about it. Let's jump back to the markets and move on to having a look at some other tools available to us. Okay guys, now what we're going to do is we're going to come back here and we're going to come back to market cap. We're going to go to all. This will take us back to the main home page. Now what we're going to do is over here at tools, we're going to look at global charts. So we'll click on global charts here. Now what this is going to show us is the total market capitalization. Now this is similar to the graphs we were looking at earlier, except this is showing us the total market capitalization over time. That's this here, that's this figure here over time. Now again, we've got the global trading volumes, we've got the global market cap. We can drag and highlight different portions as well. We can see how when you zoom in, how crazy things look, but when you come back to all, you can barely see that. The resolution changes. Now we'll zoom over here, we'll have a look. We can see the peak of the market around sort of early January here. It's around $820 billion. much the same. We can turn off the 24-hour volumes. If we turn off the market cap, there will be nothing, because that's what we're looking at. But again, look, we can look at it in the log scale as well. So lots of interesting information. Again, you can change the timelines, 1 month, 7 days. You change different dates here. It's really all up to you. Now, if you scroll down, you can see the market cap excluding Bitcoin. So this is the total market cap excluding that 40% dominance of the market cap from Bitcoin. So this gives you an idea of all the altcoins. So this is Ethereum, this is Litecoin, Ripple, Neo, all the altcoins without Bitcoin. That might just be a little bit of extra data that you can have a look at to see how the other market has performed. Now, scrolling down, what we're looking at is the dominance. Now, this is a very interesting one to look at, because what this shows us is how much Bitcoin has actually taken up against some of the major altcoins. Now, first off, just looking at the legend down here, we've got Bitcoin is the orange, Ethereum is the purple, Bitcoin Cash is the green. We'll turn Litecoin on, that was off before, is gray, Ripple is the blue. We'll turn on Dash, NEM, Monero, IOTA, Neo. We can see all these different colors here represent how much of the market these cryptocurrencies have taken up at any given time. So if we have a look up here, we'll look at December the 24th, 2016. We can see Bitcoin held 87.6% of the total market, Ethereum 3.86%, Bitcoin Cash 0, because Bitcoin Cash didn't exist at that time, Litecoin 1.2%. Now, the interesting thing is how much this has changed just recently. Now, again, you can drag and change the resolution and look at it from a closer perspective. So just recently, we can see the Bitcoin dominance is actually starting to climb back up, and the altcoin market is actually starting to drop off. Now, some other interesting things you can do here is you can look at the stacked. Now, I particularly like the stacked because it's just a little bit more interesting to look at. You can see just how much of this market dominance of Bitcoin. In the purple, you can see Ethereum, and then all these different layers. So some really interesting data. Look, you can change the dates and that as well. So some very interesting tools if you're trying to analyze what is going on with the market at any given time. Now, some other tools you have available to you as trade volumes as well. So look, you can look at the 24-hour volume rankings by currency. Now, this will tell you what the highest volume of trading is going on with any particular cryptocurrency at any given time. So we can see Bitcoin here is 40% of the global trading volume. Bitcoin is generally always number one. Tether, 14%. We've got Ethereum at 11%, Litecoin at 4.5%. We can also look at this by exchange, so we can actually look at the highest performing exchanges. So you can see OKX, which I believe is a Japanese exchange, if not a South Korean exchange, is number one for trading volume across all these different cryptocurrencies at all. We can see markets with no fees as well. So these different markets that have zero fees too. So some really interesting data. You can look at trending, gainers and losers. You can see what the most highest performing cryptocurrencies are, both over the last 24 hours. You can look at 1 hour, you can look at 7 days. We can see this coin MSD, I have no idea what it is. EA coin, Nano, Merge coin, you can see these were the highest performing over that time. You can also look at recently added, so these were coins that were just recently added to CoinMarketCap. Circulating supply will be shown as a question mark because the team haven't had an opportunity to probably get that information and to verify it before they go on and calculate the market capital. So that's why it just means it's new. They haven't had a chance to get onto it, you see, because there's just so many cryptocurrencies coming onto the market so often. I can only imagine they're just trying to stay on top of it. Now, of course, this search function as well, which I should have covered at the very start, is extremely useful rather than scrolling through literally the hundreds and over 1,000 different cryptocurrencies. Now, if you want to search for a particular cryptocurrency, all you got to do is type it in like that. We can look at what we're looking at before, Blockcat. You know, there's all sorts of stuff you can check out. So that's where you'll do it, and you can just go essentially straight to that particular cryptocurrency. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. That's CoinMarketCap as an overview. There's even more features than what I actually covered, but you know, it is just really an incredible tool that over time you'll become more familiar with, and you'll work out your own little ways on what you like to do with it and how you like to use it. So that's it, guys. It's all done. That is it for the tutorial. My sincere apologies that it dragged on for so long. I didn't intend for it to go for 40 minutes, but CoinMarketCap has just got so much useful information, it's really hard to cut it down any shorter. If you made it this far, then I really appreciate you watching the video, and I just hope that you got something out of it. So hopefully going to do some more good tutorials in the future, hopefully a lot shorter than that one. But if you liked it, smash up the likes, guys. It really means a lot to me, and it really helps my channel to grow. And also, if you haven't subscribed and you want to be on board to see some good, more future content coming, make sure to subscribe too. Again, really appreciate you watching, guys. My name is Bo, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.